If you have about $700 to spend on an espresso machine, you are almost certainly staring at these two options: the Breville Barista Express and the DeLonghi La Specialista. On paper, they look almost identical. Both have built-in grinders. Both have pressure gauges. And both promise cafe-quality coffee at home without needing a separate grinder. But after analyzing the specs, the workflow, and the long-term reliability, the truth is that these machines are built for two completely different types of people. Buying the wrong one won't just waste your money, it will actually annoy you every single morning. So today, we are doing a deep dive comparison of the build quality, the grinding technology, the espresso flavor, and the steam power, to give you a final verdict on which one is actually worth your money. Let's start with the biggest difference that you will notice immediately: the workflow and the mess. This is often the deciding factor for most buyers. The Breville Barista Express is designed for the aspiring home barista. It requires a hands-on approach. When you grind your coffee, you push the portafilter into the cradle and the machine dispenses grounds into the basket. However, this often creates a small mountain of coffee. If you aren't careful, grounds will spill onto the drip tray and your counter. You then have to remove the portafilter, level the grounds yourself, and use the magnetic tamper to press it down manually. Is it hard? No. But is it messy? Yes, it can be. If you prefer a spotless kitchen counter, this workflow might frustrate you over time. Now, compare that to the DeLonghi La Specialista. This machine features what they call a smart tamping station. You lock your portafilter in, the grinder runs, and then, without removing the handle, you pull a lever on the side of the machine. This lever tamps the coffee inside the brewing group with consistent pressure every single time. The result is zero mess. There are no loose grounds on your counter, and there is no guesswork about whether you tamped too hard or too soft. The machine handles the variable for you, so for round one, the distinction is clear. If you value a clean countertop and speed above all else, the DeLonghi takes the lead. But, as we are about to see, that convenience comes at a significant cost to control. An espresso machine is only as good as its grinder. You can have the best machine in the world, but if the grinder is inconsistent, your coffee will taste sour or bitter. The Breville Barista Express comes equipped with a stainless steel conical burr grinder. It features roughly 16 to 18 external grind settings, depending on the model year. But crucially, it also has an internal burr adjustment that allows you to make the grinder significantly finer if needed. This gives you a massive range of control to dial in different types of coffee beans, from light roasts to dark roasts. The DeLonghi La Specialista, on the other hand, is much more limited. Most models only offer between 6 to 8 grind settings. In the world of espresso, this is a major limitation. Here is why this matters. Espresso is finicky. Sometimes setting number 3 is too fast and watery, but setting number 2 is too slow and bitter. You need a setting 2.5 to get the perfect shot. The Breville allows you to find that middle ground. The DeLonghi often leaves you stuck between settings, forcing you to compromise on the flavor. Additionally, the grinder on the DeLonghi has a sensor that detects how much coffee is in the basket. While this sounds high-tech, it can sometimes be inconsistent if you switch between different bean types, leading to doses that are too small or too large. So, for round 2, the Breville Barista Express wins by a landslide. It simply offers a higher quality grinder that allows for the precision needed to make true espresso. Now, let's talk about the most important part: the taste. Does the machine actually make good coffee? To understand the difference, we have to look at the basket size. The Breville uses a 54mm stainless steel basket. This is slightly smaller than a commercial machine, but it is deep enough to hold a proper dose of 18 to 19 grams of coffee because of the PID temperature control, which keeps the water temperature perfectly stable. The shots from the Breville tend to be rich, sweet, and balanced. You can taste the specific notes of the bean, whether it's chocolate, fruit, or nuttiness. The DeLonghi uses a slightly different system. It uses a 51mm basket, which is narrower and deeper. It also uses a pressurized system in some configurations to help create fake crema if your grind isn't perfect. In testing, the DeLonghi makes a consistently good shot. It is strong, it is hot, and it will wake you up. However, it often lacks the syrupy body and the complex texture that you can get from the Breville. The DeLonghi shots can sometimes feel a bit thinner. If you are making a latte with lots of milk and syrup, you might not notice the difference. But if you drink straight espresso or Americanos, the Breville is the superior machine for flavor. If you are buying one of these machines, you probably want to make cappuccinos or lattes. This brings us to the steam wand. The Breville Barista Express uses a traditional manual steam wand. It runs on a thermocoil system, which means it takes a few seconds to build up steam pressure, usually about 30 to 40 seconds of pulsing before it's ready. Once it gets going, however, the pressure is dry and consistent. Because it is a manual wand, you have complete control. You can create that silky wet paint, microfoam that is required for pouring latte art. The DeLonghi La Specialista prioritizes speed. Depending on the model, like the Maestro or the Artide, often uses a separate heating system for the steam. This means it is ready to steam almost instantly. However, the texture is different. The DeLonghi tends to inject air a bit more aggressively, creating a froth that is very bubbly and thick, more like an old-school cappuccino foam. It is much harder to get that silky smooth texture needed for latte art on the DeLonghi compared to the Breville. So, the trade-off here is simple. The DeLonghi is faster and easier for beginners who just want hot foam. The Breville is slower, but capable of professional quality texture. If you take the time to learn the skill, let's look at the daily user. Experience. The interface on the DeLonghi feels more modern. It has a dedicated pressure gauge that is easy to read, and separate buttons for espresso, Americano, and coffee. This is a huge plus for Americano drinkers. The DeLonghi has a dedicated spout that pours hot water directly into the cup without you moving it. On the Breville, the hot water comes from a separate outlet that is a bit awkward to use for a full cup. However, the Breville feels more rugged. The buttons have a satisfying click, and the machine feels heavy and grounded. It also features a massive drip tray with a hidden storage compartment behind it, empty me indicator that pops up when the tray is full. It's these little details that make the Breville feel like a machine designed by coffee lovers. One major annoyance with the DeLonghi is the bean hopper. On the Breville, you can unlock and remove the hopper easily to change beans. On the DeLonghi, the hopper is integrated in a way that makes swapping beans much more difficult without a vacuum. So we have looked at the workflow, the grinder, the taste, and the steam. Who is the winner? The answer depends entirely on who you are. If you are what I call a coffee consumer, you should buy the DeLonghi La Specialista. You are someone who wants a caffeinated drink in the morning before work. You want it fast, you don't want to make a mess on the counter, and you don't want to learn a new hobby. You just want the machine to work. The smart tamping station and the quick heating time make this the best appliance for your kitchen. However, if you are a coffee hobbyist, you must buy the Breville Barista Express. If you are willing to deal with a few coffee grounds on the counter in exchange for a better tasting shot, this is your machine. The ability to fine-tune the grinder, the precise temperature control, and the professional steam wand means this machine will grow with you. You can learn to pour latte art and pull shots that rival your local coffee shop, in my opinion. The Breville Barista Express is the better value for money because the ceiling for quality is so much higher. It is the machine that started the home espresso revolution for a reason. But there is one more option you should consider. If you like the idea of the Breville, but you want to save about $300, you might not need the Barista Express at all. you might just need the Breville Bambino. I've put together a full comparison of those two machines in this video right here. Click on that, and I will see you there.